know a grown man with a name like Rainbow Dash or Hugsy Muffin Ball? Then you might know a brony. I'm Steve Green. This is Trifecta, and with me today to explore the brave new world of real men brave enough to admit their love of cartoon ponies, Scott Ott and Bill Whittle. Gentlemen, over at Big Hollywood, my buddy Colonel Kurt Schlichter noticed an exciting new trend, bronies. That's short for bro, and ponies from the TV show My Little Pony, which of course is aimed at fourth grade girls, but has gained legions of grown male fans. Scott, the producers of the show said they never saw this coming, and yet just in the past few weeks there have been brony conventions in Los Angeles and in Washington, D.C. So on some level, shouldn't they have seen this coming?
You know, the Greek debt crisis was a sign. Some of the things that President Obama has said, especially regarding the Supreme Court, those were indicators. But this phenomenon of brony conventions, I think, clearly was foretold in the book of Revelation. This is it. We are toast. It is over. Please get those pictures off of my show.
Yeah, you want to keep your eye line way above that. All right. By the way, gentlemen, I used the Brony name generator yesterday, and Scott, you are now Majestic Comet, and Bill, we'll call you Brilliant Whistle. Okay. Bill, Brilliant. This might shock you, but bronies include members of the United States military, soldiers. So surely Kurt went overboard when he called bronies femboys and permavirgins, didn't he?
Permavirgins. Boy, I'd hate to be a guy like that. You know, here's the thing for me. I really, my opinion on this genuinely is determined by the age of the people involved. Speaking as a guy who went to the occasional Star Trek convention and glued ear tips onto his ears and walked around Lord God King Uber Bufu nerd, I have some sympathy for what they're going through. But you know, if you're into your mid-20s, and certainly if you're into your 30s, it really is time to grow up. I've said many times that the problem with this country is we need to get in touch with our inner adult. And there's a difference between childlike wonder in things and childish escape from the pressures of the world. And I think the brony situation is heading rapidly into B.
All right. Majestic, back to you. You've raised girls, so I'm sure you were familiar with My Little Pony before today. It's a wholesome show. It's full of positive messages about friendship and caring. Why shouldn't grown men be able to enjoy that?
Well, I think my girls missed that somehow, or I missed it, because I can probably truthfully say I've never watched a single episode of My Little Pony. Now I do have a little fellow with me right now who stands on my desk at all times, and he probably won't show up very well because of the special green screen magic we do here. But I, in fact, do have Gumby right here on my desk, and that's an entirely different thing. I don't know if they're going to call me a grony, if there's another word for that. But, you know, frankly, when you think about men who are enamored of rainbow, sparkly unicorns with fluffy tails, some people call them freaks, but President Obama calls them the base.
Oh, okay. All right, last question, Brilliant Whistle. On a sliding scale going from Bruce Willis on one end to Mary Hartman on the other end, where would you place bronies?
Oh, this one goes up to 11. You know, I do think that, look, I'm all about freedom to do what you want to do, and if these guys want to do that, that's fine. I do think that we are seeing signs all across the culture of not only of escapism from the realities of Barack Obama's economic America, but escapism from the entire idea of growing up, Steve. You know, the idea of that you would eventually put away things. I mean, more and more and more, you're running into guys 30 years old, 40 years old now, and they got little Star Wars figures in their cubes, and you know, there does come a time to, you know, to put away childish things and to kind of grow up. And our forefathers had to grow up very early. Many of our ancestors, most of our ancestors settled this country, were fully grown adults by the time they were 10 years old. And the more prosperity and security we have, the longer that onset gets delayed. I don't think it's good for the country, and frankly, I don't think it's good for those guys. I don't think that's a path to happiness and satisfaction, to be constantly clinging to something of your fourth and fifth year.
You know, I'm glad Brilliant brought that up because, folks, it's easy to point and laugh at men calling themselves Lord Romance or Sapphire Lollipop. But let's remember that we live in an age of high unemployment, economic uncertainty, political instability, terrorism, war. So try and understand the needs some people might have to retreat into a world of pure fantasy. I just wish they'd do something slightly less unseemly, like maybe write letters to the Penthouse Forum. For PJTV, I'm Starry Bristle.